welcome back to the Go Ham podcast. Today we are getting into a super relatable topic, but before we get into it, just want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, comment what you want us to talk about. It's a great way to support us, and head over to our website, gohampod.com. We got some great freebies and resources over there for you too.
Cool.
All right, today joining us.
Welcome back.
We had such good feedback from everyone, from TikTok to YouTube to Instagram, when we had Miss Carrie Smith on with us previously talking about our apprentice program. So we brought her on back for a topic that she knows very well.
Almost too well.
Hairstylist guilt. Let's get into it.
All right, Carrie. So from your opinion, and I feel like this can come in so many different ways, but what does hairstylist guilt look like?
I would say it probably, this is a tough one. It looks all different ways, right? Like working too much, feeding into your family, asking you to do hair when you're technically off. Mm-hmm. There's so many different things. You know, people booking last minute or trying to book last minute can't get in with you. And you're like, okay, I'll squeeze you in, or I'll come in on my day off. You know, there's a lot of different ways hairstylist guilt can look.
Pricing.
I was going to say,
Mm-hmm.
Even just
policy.
Like doing
policies.
someone's hair and them not liking it. I mean, carry some guilt with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about all the forms. So how about like doing hair on your day off? I'm sure we've all like been there.
Yeah. I would say like starting out as a hairstylist, I think that's one of the biggest things is doing hair on your day off.
Yeah.
Right? Because you feel guilty about charging salon prices to your friends. And so then you're like, oh, I'll do your hair outside of work, you know?
Yeah.
And then it just spirals, and then they expect that all the time.
I think one of the major parts of this is because in the beginning, like, we're so pressured and like eager to build our book that we're willing to do like anything. So then we like that mindset like trickles into like the rest of our career, and then you hit like a breaking point. You're like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why am I coming in outside of my working hours? Why am I squeezing people in?
Yeah.
Why am I like skipping my lunch and like killing myself? But then there's also like factors that come into play with like clients that you actually love and care about and treat you like really well, that you will bend over backwards for. Yeah.
Yeah. I have my handful of people that I'll bend over backwards for, you know, because I know they appreciate it. I think that's part of the factor too, right? Like half the people that are asking you to bend your boundaries don't appreciate it either.
Right.
You know, so that's like a boundary you have to figure out too, you know, who deserves it versus who doesn't.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So that's tough.
Well, that's what, like, I think part of it is that the natural thing is, right, is that when you're just getting into this industry and you're building your business, most times you're young and you don't know how to navigate those conversations. So you just kind of roll through it and like, it's guilt city.
Yeah.
Like, I'm charging too much.
Yeah.
I need to do my friends on my time off. This client doesn't like their hair. Like, I feel so bad because I think that the industry newbies really have it tough.
Yeah.
And that's been the case for years. Like, it's just, you're not as confident. Your skill set isn't quite there. You don't have the verbiage. You don't have the confidence. So it's hard because in that stage of your career, it's really difficult. And I feel like you're constantly being hit with guilt. But then as you progress and you mature and you learn the ins and outs of the industry, you learn how to navigate people in general, you start to grow and you start to set up your boundaries. And, you know, to anybody who's listening who might be a newbie and you might be feeling this, just know that the future is bright and you will hit a point where you're going to have the confidence behind you to actually set the boundaries and not feel the guilt. And that's a great place to be.
I have to say, like, it took me a long time to get to that point in my career. I don't know if I'm just like a people pleaser to begin with. But I have to say, it wasn't until I started working for you guys that I really built up that confidence to say no to certain situations, you know?
Why is that, do you think?
Because I got the support from you guys, you know? I never, in the amount of salons that I've worked at, haven't been many, but I never had that support. It was always, you say yes to everything, you do everything, you know? Even if someone's treating you poorly, you deal with it and you do what you need to do, you know?
Yeah, I guess I can feel that. Like,
I think
feel
it
like,
has a lot to do with I feel like 90% of the people who are just starting out like don't have kids. They have all the time in the world, like, and they are like, yeah, sure, like,
Yeah.
I don't care, I'll come in, I'll bang a couple clients out and go
Right.
home, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think it helps for us because like we're in a period in our lives where like we set boundaries for ourselves, so we encourage our team to as well, because we're in like the thick of like you know, raising kids and being busy and wanting to have enough time to do everything.
Yeah.
That we kind of like encourage you guys to be the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you said, I feel like every salon that I've ever been in, it was kind of like, well, why can't you come in?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a post that I found. I sent it to you guys, but it says, this is from Dawn Bradley on Instagram. And she says, after canceling appointments due to my grandma nearing death, I received this email from a client. And the email was, Dawn, that's totally not a problem. Don't feel bad and don't worry about it at all. I will pass the message along to my mom and let her know that if she can make it on a Friday, if she can't make it in on Friday, that you'd fit her in on your day off, as long as that's okay with you. Life happens to us all and completely understandable. I'm thinking about you. Take care. Talk soon. What are your guys' thoughts on the email that she received from her client?
oh man, my head's going in so many
passive-aggressive.
different directions.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought. I'm like, how like passive aggressive is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
so passive aggressive to the point where I even question if she knows she's being passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's almost authentic. Like, hey, you don't mind, right? Like, you're gonna,
As long as you don't
Yeah.
mind. It's
So
cool.
there's comments in here. The comment section was pretty interesting. Someone said, this was the top comment. You're withholding part of the convo here. Clearly she mentions Friday is your day off because you presented that as an option in your previous email. There's nothing wrong with what she's saying. She's being polite and empathetic. And then there's some people who are kind of like us, like, which part hurt for you a lot, if that's okay, or the no obligation. Maybe try therapy if you're still bothered by something that happened in 2010. These people are brutal.
it's honestly though, like, I mean, now that I'm seeing it from that perspective and I'm processing
Yeah,
it, like,
it makes you think.
yeah. I mean, and I have to say, the lady was being like super nice. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was like,
the email was definitely not rude
This was
in any
15
way.
years ago.
She must have. She's probably just one of those people that says things and is oblivious to like. She just don't know how to communicate. Which, like,
Yeah.
I'm like what I'm doing right now.
no, I kind of feel that. I kind of agree with you that I think she was
Social
just like,
anxiety.
Yeah, like
Social
she's
anxiety.
trying to say something, but it's just not coming out the right way. Like I just like that. So.
I feel like so many times you like older people or more mature people will, they'll complain about like, you don't even know what my sister texted me. And I'm like, your sister probably didn't mean that.
Right,
Like, she probably
right.
didn't mean it that way, but you're reading the text this way. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, things like that. Like, it's just like, I don't think the lady had like negative or ill intentions,
Right.
but you're spinning it in a way that,
Right.
Yeah. I also think like we're in our own heads about it too. Like we
Yeah.
have so much anxiety over having to move an entire day that like
Yeah.
we like create these scenarios in our head like, oh, so and so is gonna be pissed or she's gonna like go to somebody else. Like
Yeah.
when every time I've ever called out or had to move clients, like there was never a problem. You might get like a snarky remark here and there, but like
Yeah, but you just have to brush it off.
Right.
Yeah.
do you have any like stories of
Oh,
clients
Oh yeah.
clients who
Wait,
overstep their
do you remember
boundaries?
COVID when we were doing the single process like root touch-up kits for people?
Yep.
I had a client who
Was mad you didn't come with the kit.
basically like, well, kind of. So she was, I don't want to say she was a tough client. She was a high maintenance client, like
High expectations.
high expectations and just very rude about the way she came off about a lot of things. And we were making the kits and I got special color for her anyway. Like it wasn't even,
Yeah.
We carried L'Oreal. She couldn't use L'Oreal. She was allergic to it. So I would go out of my way and make sure that we had Wella for her and made up her kit, She couldn't come pick it up at the allotted time that Aliscia and I were there. And she lives all the way, I don't know, she lives far from where I lived.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what, after we're done, I'll just come drop it off in your driveway. And, you know, gave her the instructions, all of that. And then she comes back and writes Aliscia like this long email saying that it wasn't her color and all of this stuff. And she didn't even use it. And Aliscia even asked her, like, did you use it?
I don't remember this.
No.
It's shocking.
And then we came up with and then she wrote Aliscia an email and said all these things about me, and then told Aliscia not to talk to me about it.
Oh.
Clearly I did.
Clearly she did. So then
She was just stuck in those COVID miserable. Everybody was miserable during
Yeah.
COVID, I feel
Yeah.
like.
The
But
audacity.
But it was like kind of like the icing on the cake, you know?
Yeah.
Like she was a client that I would come in on my day off and do. She was my client that I would squeeze in.
Yeah.
You know, like that. And then for her to then turn around and, you know, write that email to you and you're like,
So did she
essentially-
come back after COVID? Just,
no, I kindly wrote her an email and asked her not to.
good for you.
Yeah.
Unindicted
Because that was
her
my boundary.
Well, this is like a common thing that happens. This happened recently at Newtown Square where there was a situation with a client that was, you know, she definitely crossed a boundary on the salon floor with one of the stylists, made a scene, people were uncomfortable, and it was brought to me.
Yeah.
And I called her.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, can you explain to me more about what happened yesterday? She was completely livid that it got to me. Like, she was like, how dare anybody go and tell the owner that this happened? Like, and the next time she came in, she made a comment to the front desk. She made a comment to the stylist. She was like so appalled that, and I'm like, well, that's what happens when you act that way.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm the owner. Like, if you're going to
Yeah.
act this way in our business, it's going to get back to me. And unfortunately, it was inappropriate and needed to be addressed. And I wasn't aggressive in any way. I just
No.
basically asked her, I'm like, hey, can you explain to me more? I know that you were disgruntled. I know that things, you know, maybe didn't go the way you had planned. Can you plan, you know? And then I just basically kindly asked, I'm like, moving forward, if you have any issues, please, you know, feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to handle it. And she was completely like thrown that I even reached out to her.
Was this one of
Did you
your
call
old
her on
clients?
No.
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 Yeah.
Well, she probably would find comfort in knowing that it never got back to me. So
Yeah.
it just went right to you.
Yeah.
Well, that happened
'Cause I don't
remember
even know
when
who this
When
is.
we first opened in Wayne, and you were there, and a client of mine who also was pushed those boundaries, said something inappropriate, and made an assistant feel really awful.
Yeah.
And you guys called her, and you know,
It's a common theme with a certain generation who
Yeah.
not used to being called out on their shit.
yeah,
Are we talking about
Yeah.
the boomers?
No,
Is it the boomers?
you said it, not me.
I'm just asking. Is it the boomers?
Sometimes.
sometimes.
I mean, listen, it's everyone. I won't say but it is a common theme with that specific
Yeah.
generation. We have it all over. I mean, we've dealt with some crazy stuff.
I swear the Gen Xers
What
are the
about-
only normal ones.
The Gen Xers.
They're the only normal
I
ones.
don't know. I feel like I got into it with a Gen Xer recently. Yep.
What about like policies? So like upholding your cancellation policy,
that
like
need to
doing
say,
redos
I'm sorry,
outside
but this is
of
the policy.
Yeah, there's
Why are you
definitely a lot of
apologizing
guilt
for
for
your
that.
policy.
Right.
There's definitely guilt for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find often that you're charging for cancellation fees or no-show fees when necessary?
When necessary, I will. But in my mind, I will come up with an excuse sometimes for the client.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they no-show me, I'll be like, oh, well, I know that, you know, she's got a lot of kids and it's camp season and she was probably running behind or forgot. And I'm like, oh, just let it go.
Because it's relatable. I feel like
Right,
that happens with
yeah.
me. Like I hear certain stories and I'm just like, God, I feel bad because I've been there. Like I
been
know
there,
that.
right, yeah.
I
But
also
in the
feel
same
like-
sense, like for me, like I'm the type of person where like I understand there's a cancellation policy. Like I'm not gonna fight it. I get it. I canceled on you.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, I do feel guilt doing that to
Yeah.
other people.
Like, do you mention it though? Like,
Yeah, I'll mention it. I'll just be like, you know, especially
Normally.
if it happens more than once.
Right.
I think the first time I'll just be like, oh, okay. I'm like, kind of let it go. But if it happens more than once, I definitely mention it.
yeah, I was gonna say that
Because-
probably makes you as successful as you are because like they feel Like, oh wow, like
Right.
she's cutting me a break. Like I
Yeah.
really appreciate that she understands where I'm
Yeah.
coming from. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Especially if they like call and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, can I reschedule?" And it's like, then I get like, I don't know. I feel like when they call to reschedule and to like apologize, then they mean it. You know
Right.
what I mean? If they just don't call and don't cancel, like they just no show and you get no response after calling them like a couple times, it's like, okay, you're getting charged.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about like pricing and promotions.
Oh, that's hard. I see
yeah,
that. Do you
that's
know
a
how many
tough one.
times people come in the office and they're up for a promotion and they're like, I don't want to even do it because I know my clients are going to be upset. Like, I just can't. Like, I
Yeah.
can't raise my prices right now or something. And that's sad.
Well,
Yeah.
something we talk about a lot on all the episodes is like the emotional toll that like hairstylists take on when they have like clients who are going through like really hard things, like their husband got diagnosed with cancer or like someone died in their family. Like,
You take on their emotions.
Right.
You're sitting there with them for an hour or plus. So I mean, if you're an empathic person, like you're going to, which most hairstylists are, I think, you're going to take on like what your clients are feeling, you know?
What?
Heather.
Are you trying to insinuate that I'm not an empathetic person?
I think you are.
I'm not really sure. That's
It depends.
debatable.
It depends.
It depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation. But yeah, I mean, when
I'm
it comes
kidding.
to, listen, I have high expectations in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I also, I mean, had you and I both, when it comes to like the community, anybody
yeah.
struggling, challenging,
We're right away.
we
what
I mean,
can we
last
do?
week we're like, you know, the situation happened, and I don't even want to get into it, but basically like that it eats me alive when like people are
does.
going through struggles and challenges. And
Yeah.
yes, I am
she's
very
more of a tough love type of person.
She is, because I
Yeah.
gotta say, like in that whole situation, like it wasn't. She didn't even call me to talk about it. She called me. I answered the phone, and she's like, "How much are we donating?" Like
This is what we're
that
doing.
was the first thing out of her mouth, and I'm like, "Let's do it. What are you thinking?" I'm like, "There's two of them, so
Yeah,
we've got to
I
do
mean,
even across the board."
when it comes to, I think that there's people who like, you know, make their own bed with challenges and struggles and things like that, but then there's people who get dealt really shitty situations, and when that happens with clients, it's like I'll do anything to make them feel okay in that moment. I
Would
mean,
you not charge them your prices?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done that. I mean, I've
done it
approved that left and right. Like if there's a situation, like I've gotten a text where it's like, "Hey, I just found out my client has cancer. I'd rather not charge her tonight." I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like don't.
Yeah.
I mean, we found out about a client that she used to be mine, and she was seeing somebody else at that point, and she had a bad diagnosis. I got in my car, I drove her like cookies.
Yeah.
Like anything to like just
Yeah,
give
make her
that
feel better.
support
Yeah.
and like know like your Prive family cares. We're
Yeah.
here for you in any way we can possibly be.
Yep.
That's just, I mean, that's how we roll, and that's how you should roll.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that speaks volumes.
Yeah. There's like a
And-
difference between like guilt and then just being kind, right? Like, yeah.
Yep.
What about people who just like bitch every time you get a price increase or anytime they check out? What are your thoughts on that?
They like force you to feel guilty.
Right, well,
Like,
that's
you
what
don't
I
have a
mean,
choice in
like-
that moment.
Yeah.
I understand
Especially when
like
you're
I know.
starting out.
the
you know?
serious situations, but then there's like scenarios where you have somebody who's like constantly talking about pricing, and it's like, oh my god, I just don't want to deal with this conversation, so I'm just not going to charge her my real prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I almost feel like that's what they want out of it. Like they want
True.
to make you feel guilty, so you're like they can keep their
Okay.
pricing, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
that's not fair.
Yeah.
So you do need boundaries.
Yeah.
You need to be able to be like, well, if you can't afford me, here's someone you can afford.
Yeah.
That actually, it happened to me recently, and it's a client I've been doing for years. We're pretty close. And she was like, "Oh, another price increase? You got another promotion?" I was like, "Are you trying to make me feel guilty?"
Is that what you said?
Wait, what did she say?
And she just looked at me. She's like, "Oh, you're so crazy." I was like, "No, are you?"
You should be like, no, I'm just so good.
probably
That's
like,
why I
"Here's my
got
credit
another
card."
promotion.
Pretty much.
That's amazing.
Probably the last time
She's like,
she'll
"Well, you
ever
know, I'm
bring
not
it up.
going anywhere else." I'm like, "I know."
Yep.
Oh my god.
So let's stop having this
So let's,
conversation.
like, it is what it is.
keep throwing comments at me. I'm going to double my price just for you.
Yeah, right. But 10 years ago, I would have never said that to anybody. But, you know, when you get older, you kind
get
of
more
lose
confident and
and you lose that, like, you just don't
Give
give a
your
fuck.
fucks.
yeah.
You just don't give a
Zero.
fuck.
Like the
This
le-
is my zero fucks era.
Yeah, just let them be that way. Like
You've
the let
earned
them
it.
theory
Yeah.
comes into play. I feel like when you're older in life,
Yeah.
just like whatever.
Yeah.
Everything's a whatever.
Yeah.
Carrie, what are your thoughts on friends and family pricing? And like, how do you navigate that for yourself?
So, this is something that hit me early on. I have a group of I have like 16 cousins. So, I used to do all of their hair. And when I was younger and I was starting out, they had asked me, they're like, what do you want to charge? And I looked at them and I was like, I don't know. And my cousin Lisa, shout out to her, it stuck with me. She's like, Carrie, she's like, this is your career. This isn't your hobby. And like, you coming to my house is a favor enough. So you charge me what you're supposed to charge me. And I'm like,
Oh, good for her.
I'm like,
she taught you a lesson early on.
Right?
Yeah.
and that stuck with me. So like, obviously I don't like charge my mom or anything, but you know, my family, I charge them what I charge. Unless they come into the salon, I will give them, you know, like the friends and family, like 20% off or whatever. But I don't do it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we share what our friends and family policy is at the salons? It seems to have worked pretty much because we want to be respectful of our friends and family, which we appreciate the support, but also, you know, we are operating a business. So we came up with this. It seems to make sense.
So we tend to give, our friends and family policy is 20% off. If they come in during schedule time, like if you're working, but if they come in when you're not working and you're taking them in, we just charge for products.
Yeah. So that's kind of like left up to the stylist individually. And I think they're able to navigate like who they consider their friends and family. And, you know, Uncle Joe, who I cut his hair every 2 weeks, I just, you know, come in 20 minutes or, you know, a half hour before I start and get him done. So that's out of the way and I can move on with my day. And I feel like that's been pretty successful.
Listen, I had Jackie as my inspiration for friends and family, and I would hear her complain all the time about my mom, about having to do like friends and family hair. So I laid it out for my friends and my family. Like, I'll do your hair for free until I get on the floor, but when I get on the floor, like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
I gotta-
cool.
So do you charge your brother?
No, not my brother. I might have back in the day.
I mean, that
but
just seemed pretty like the lines in the sand here.
not
Like,
immediate. All right, immediate family's different.
all right, I'm just
But, like,
asking.
I'm saying, like,
listen, I
cousins-
can't even get on her friends and family list. I was booted for years.
I was going to say, I don't
The
have
only
any friends and family.
on her list are 3 people: my mom, my son, and my nephew.
Yeah. I don't
Like,
even, my husband is
Yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
gone, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, my cousins, like, I don't charge my mom. I wouldn't charge my mom or my dad or my brother.
Yeah.
But
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, but you know, like my cousins, my aunts, like they all
Yeah.
still came to me and they still paid.
And especially if you have a big family. I mean, they could
Yeah.
fill your book in a week.
yeah,
It's like
and they got the 20% off.
you got to
so-
make money somewhere.
Yeah.
So while we're on this topic, I think we should recognize salon owner guilt because this is definitely something that like I feel like, especially when it comes to pricing, because I feel like what it is like so many people want to support your small business, you know, like I want to come, you know, and they've been committed to us for so long, but there's times where I'm like, holy smokes, like, you know, that's the price tag on her service. Like you do this all the time. Like Heather will call me and be like, is this right? You know,
Yeah,
so-and-so paid this much money. And I'm like, it
Yeah.
is like, that's, you know, it's so hard because like, you know, it's difficult. And, you know, I think that maybe, you know, maybe that's a topic that we need to discuss as owners and I don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely times where I'm like, oh my God, like that hurts that, you know, they've been supporting us for so long and, you know,
Yeah,
whatever. But I also think that, you know, we have a ton of different levels in our company and you can choose who you go to and kind of
Yeah.
just like it is for regular clients. The other guilt that I face, I don't know if you guys do, is up at school when they're like, oh, I brought so-and-so in for a haircut. I'm like, oh, how much was that?
I know,
You know?
I know. I get nervous too, especially when they're like, "Oh, me and my daughter just went and we just had haircuts," and I'm just like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, I know.
Like, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I hope you liked it.
Why?
I get like,
There's a choice. They have
I
a
know,
choice.
I know, but
to
I also
choose.
feel like kids cuts, you can get a kid's cut like pretty cheap
Yeah, but
anywhere.
also,
But I feel like they're choosing to come to us and they're paying premium pricing for kids.
Yeah, but
But
also
they're
getting the
getting much
premium
better cuts and
experience.
stuff,
Yeah,
but-
and like our girls are so great with kids.
I know
like,
they
they're
are.
very accommodating.
This
if
is just
they're-
it's owner's guilt. Like
Yep,
it's just
owner's
guilt.
guilt.
Like I
That's
can't
it.
explain it. Like I just feel terrible, but I'm like I know that it makes sense, but it just sucks.
I know.
Yeah, there's
it's
times
tough.
where clients will come in and they'll see kids getting their hair cut at the salon, and they're like, "How much are they paying for that kid's cut?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Wait, can we talk about my
Because I don't do them anymore.
my one client? This was actually hilarious. I'll share this story. She was wild. Like, she used to get her hair done in New York City. She started coming to me, super successful, had like twin boys. She would come in and literally sit in my chair and be like, "Yeah, I don't know what you did last time, but it was awful. Can you just fit?" Like, she was so blunt about
Yeah.
her expectations.
Yeah.
So she ended up stopping coming. She went, I don't know where, probably New York City again. Because that's a whole different type of client when they're a
yeah.
New York City client.
Yep.
But I used to cut her kids' hair. She would have the nanny come in. The nanny would come in with the two boys, and I would literally charge like $95 for each kid.
Yeah.
And they were just like,
She didn't care.
nope.
As long as you're not doing
Didn't
her
even
hair.
bat an eye.
Yeah. Didn't feel any guilt there, though. I got to be honest.
You're like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna make up on the kids' cuts for
Yep.
your hair."
Oh my
But I
gosh.
feel like all it takes is like one bad experience for either the mom or the kid for them to be like, "Oh, that's it. We're never going back there again. We're going to Prive." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
They do.
Yep.
They do.
What other guilt do you guys face as owners?
As owners,
I feel like with the redos,
I feel like most of my guilt is for like the team.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the clients are one thing, but I feel like I feel guilty for the team sometimes. Like if they need off and they can't take off, or they come to you and they're like, "I really have a great opportunity to do a wedding," and you're like, "Well, you're scheduled for work Saturday." Like there's nothing I can do, and it's like our team has grown so much that we can't like. We have to be straight across the board, and like there's so many times that I want to be like, "All right, don't worry about it. Do what you got to do. We'll figure it out for you." But I'm like, I can't, because I don't want to get hit with 80 other people calling me saying they have the same situation. But I always feel guilty because I'm like, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not often. I mean, just sometimes. But like that's one of the guilts I have. Like some certain clients that I feel like should not be charged what they're getting charged.
mine's like redos and reviews. Like when we get a bad review and I touch base with like the stylist involved and like hear their side of the story, and I'm like, oh God, it feels like you kind of like sometimes there is like something to learn from it, but like sometimes there's not. And like they did everything, they explained the pricing, they had a consultation, they explained that what they wanted wasn't going to happen in that appointment, and like they're still unhappy. So I feel like those situations are tough, where like we wind up like having to compensate our team and giving the client like what they need just to make everybody happy. Those are the situations that I like hate, because I'm like, oh, well, there's like no wrong person here,
Right. No, I agree with you on that. One of the other guilts I have is I feel some sort of way, and like there's a soft spot in my heart for the apprentices. I feel like the majority of them run around and stand on their heads. They're like, doing everything they can, and then they're walking away with these ridiculous tips sometimes. And I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I mean, I'm paying you a decent amount, but like they depend on their tips too. And it's like, I feel like when I talk to them, it just seems like tips have changed drastically in the past like 4 or 5 since COVID. I keep going back to COVID, and I hate that, but I feel like the apprentices aren't seeing the tips that they used to get. Like,
I feel like that's where an actual apprentice program and a tipping scale is really important in your company, which we can get into on a different episode, like how we navigate that.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing. It's like you start out, you make a specific amount. We're pretty competitive with our hourly rate, which helps, because not a lot of salons are. Like, I think a lot of salons are minimum wage and don't even ask me to go above that. But I think that having a strong hourly rate helps.
Yeah.
Because anything beyond that is kind of added to it.
it
Like,
just
great.
supports it. It does. But like, I also feel like people, like, shame on you people. Like, these girls are in here working their butts off, or guys, and they're working their butts off, and they're not just there taking 2 clients. They're taking multiple clients throughout the night, throughout the day. They're in school. They're doing other stuff. Like, and then you're going to give them like $3 for a luxury shampoo that you just got. Like,
Yeah.
come
I feel
on.
like Venmo has a big part of that too.
Just like out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Oh, yeah, 'cause they
They're
don't have to
yeah,
hand it to
I'll-
you.
Right. I'll
So-
Venmo you later. They never do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's,
There
there's
was a-
that too.
So should we take our Venmo things down? We only accept cash tips, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
ATM is in the back.
So there, I feel like there was a big shift when we were like assistants. So like when my first salon job, I remember like walking out on a Saturday and making like $150 in cash,
Yeah.
like in tips.
Yeah.
But then as like I got more like serious with it, I remember like making less tips, but the tips were larger. So like quality versus quantity, I guess. Because like the first job, it was like I would shampoo like 50 heads in one day. But I'd be curious to know like how much a shampoo assistant makes in tips these days, though, just so like we could.
You got to ask your team, because
We
I've
should
asked,
survey. We should
I've
survey.
asked a few of mine,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
kind of really surprised.
Yeah, I do know when
'Cause,
we
like,
added the
I just know
tippy
for me,
thing.
like what I tip people, like I tip my nail girl, like, and I'm
I
like,
know the cost of the service almost.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I always
Because
try to
we're in the
do like a
industry.
20% of whatever it's costing, and then for the stylist, and then for the associates, I like, or apprentices, like I mean, it might not be 20%, but like I do a good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll go get a 20-minute manicure that costs me $60, and I'm tipping them $20.
But it also goes back
I'm just
to
like-
like what you said earlier about like the cost of the actual service and feeling guilty about it. Now
yeah.
you're asking them to tip the shampoo person,
I know.
the stylist.
I know.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with it too. Like
It
it's not like
definitely
they're paying
does,
$20
because they're
for a
they're
haircut
coming in and
anymore.
they're spending $500, and it's like,
Right.
what do I have left to tip now? And I get that, and I
Right.
understand it, but I do feel bad for the apprentices, because I mean, like, there are times when they make great money. They're like, you know, my tips are great, you know, but then there's some times where they're like,
Well,
and I
think
just I
that-
don't like that.
I think as you grow, as you grow, like when you first start out as an apprentice and you're still learning, and maybe your shampoos aren't that great, and you're working as a general assistant, like you're on the scale, you're on the lower side, and then as you progress and you start to learn how to talk to people and
Yeah.
you know, do their hair and have a massage technique, obviously it increases. Like I got a text last night and it was like, hey, I just want to let you know Ava is phenomenal. Like I just had the best experience with her. So obviously Ava's tip is going to be a reflection of that
Of that.
experience.
Yeah. Right.
And then as they get into the higher levels, when now they're working with an educator,
Yeah.
they're with the same people every 6 weeks. Like it's a whole different experience.
They're getting on
with
a
their
more
money.
personal level. Yeah, no,
Yes.
I understand that. And I understand like the value behind what you bring is what you deserve to get, like for sure. So like if you're like just starting out and you're not, you know, that great yet, I understand all that. I just feel bad for the apprentices, because I feel like I just want everybody to be, you know, tipped the way they should be. And I think since COVID, people have cut back on tipping.
Oh, 100%.
Yep.
And
Carrie, do you have any apprentice guilt?
Apprentice guilt.
Yeah, like let me just say, Carrie runs our apprentice program and has a very close relationship with them.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm not talking about money or financials. I'm talking
Yeah.
more about like the apprentices in general within our company. Like, is there any guilt that weighs on you there?
Oh God. Yeah. Definitely. There's guilt where like I almost feel like I'm not giving them enough sometimes, like during the workshops. Like sometimes I would just want to like be with one for a longer period of time, because I know if I had that one-on-one with them, they do so much better or feel more confident, or they just needed that time. But like, you know, during workshops I have like 10 plus girls. So I can't spend that quality time with all of them at once, you know?
Understood, yeah.
So, like, if I know, for instance, one girl was bringing in a men's cut, terrified, like, totally terrified. But I also had, like, 7 other girls that I needed to watch. So I would show her, you know, boost her up. I'm like, you got this, you know what you're doing. And then I would have to walk away. And then I'll turn around and she's just, like, staring at me.
Yeah.
like, get back
You know?
here.
Like, I'm
Get
not
back here
starting
right
unless
now.
until you come back around.
Yeah.
So I'm, like, literally going in a circle, you
Yep.
know? But
I imagine that that's the case with a lot of educators. And
Yeah.
when we say educators in our company, it's basically someone who works one-on-one with an apprentice or an assistant. And I feel like that, you know, the educators in general have so much on their plate. You know, they're working sometimes servicing 18 plus guests a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Their schedules are insane. And I imagine that they feel guilt, at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
did I give my apprentice what they needed today? Or
Did I answer all the questions they had?
yeah.
Or,
Did my clients take care of them? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot that I imagine happens there.
And like Aliscia and I were just talking about this like last week, like when you're a higher level stylist and you're working with an apprentice, you have the same clients over and over and over again. So it gets really repetitive, right? Like, so when you have a personal and they want to learn something new all the time, can't necessarily always give that to them because you are doing the same clients over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's hard in that aspect because then you feel guilty that you're not teaching them enough,
Yeah. Yep.
So it's, it's tough on both sides,
Where do we draw the line and how do we communicate boundaries with clients?
give me an example.
Where
Tell them
when?
to
And I'll
stop
give
making
you a
feel
boundary.
Just saying, like, we're talking about guilt. Like, what advice could we give to somebody who, like, is self-destructing their business by letting guilt take over?
Almost doing like self-affirmations, right? Like telling yourself that your time is precious and that, when you're not at work, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to take that time to make sure you're okay, because this job's physical, it's mental, you're taking
more
on,
mental than physical.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you're taking on so much stuff from everybody. You need that time to decompress. And then if you're a mom on top of it all and a wife, it's like, it's a lot.
Well, what you were saying earlier, how like when you were working at previous salons, you didn't have that confidence to
Right.
set the boundaries and say no's,
Yeah.
but you also didn't have the support.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to make sure that you're getting the support you need from your team and your
Yeah.
leaders.
Yep.
And if you're not, it's time to find a new spot.
Yeah.
One of the biggest guilts that we missed that I think is like huge
Yeah.
is the guilt that stylists deal with just like comparing themselves to others within the company or
Oh, yeah.
in our company. The guilt, like sometimes when I sit down for one-on-ones and it's like maybe somebody who wasn't having one-on-ones regularly with me, and then they sit down and I feel like they're like a deer in headlights and they're afraid that like I'm going to be like, hey, you had a really bad month. Like that guilt, like, and
Competitive guilt? Like,
yeah, like a competitive guilt. And like
comparison?
sometimes, a lot of times it's yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're just being super competitive with yourself and, this is a goal of mine and I didn't hit it.
Yeah.
Or-
Guilty. I am guilty of that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I think we see a lot in our company is when there's, maybe somebody who's performing insane or climbing the level chart really quickly. And then there's someone who's not. Like,
Right.
that's a guilt.
Yeah.
And then it's just the basics of like, oh, each month my goal is this and I keep coming up short. Like there's just a lot that I think is tough. And for us in our company, we don't really put tremendous pressure when it comes to the service hours or things like that. We do
Yeah.
have benchmarks that we follow pretty tightly with other areas, but I don't think anybody's ever in trouble. There's no. But I think there's just like a guilt that I imagine that people feel that's hard to manage. And I think that's difficult and probably unspoken.
Yeah.
And I think we've all faced it,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you and I got on the floor at the same time and I'm just always used to being like right below you and everything in my life. So I was always like, all right, Alicia's ready to level jump. I guess I got to start working.
Guess that's my turn now too.
True.
Alicia's squatting. I guess I'll start squatting. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what, and not that it was ever like a guilt I felt because that's just not how I am as a person.
Yeah.
But there is like a friendly competitiveness almost
Right.
that I
like
think
pressure.
can, yeah,
Well,
like a
that's
pressure.
what I say. Like the most, like you're only as strong as like the people that you surround yourself
Yep.
with. You know, you don't
Yeah.
want to be like the top dog in every situation because then it's like only up to you to push yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be the smartest one in the room.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a little self guilt here. Come on.
It's okay to beat yourself up.
Yeah. As long as you come out on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. All right, Kara, any advice for the people?
Any advice for the people?
I love the self affirmations though and
Yeah.
the worth thing. I think that's super important.
And just be patient with yourself too. Like, don't overwork yourself. It's not worth it. You'll land yourself in the hospital, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like with any career, right? Just Move at your own pace. Be happy with the space that you're in, you know?
Yep.
And I think it's important to know how to handle like a friend or a family or even a client if they're making you feel some sort of way.
Yeah.
Like you need to be able to be like, well, you can feel that way, but this is how I feel, and
Yeah.
like protect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Protect yourself because nobody else will. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have people that'll support you, obviously, but
And you're not going to make everybody happy.
right.
So
Yeah.
you're going to have some haters and just accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
you're
matter what.
You're never going to make everybody happy. There's
No.
always going to be people that are, digging it in or, like cheering at your losses from afar.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the game.
It is.
All right. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Simple ways to support us are just subscribing, sharing with friends that you feel would find value here. And last but certainly not least, hit up our website, thegohampod.com. We have a lot of freebies over there for you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.